Oh, here we go.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm James Wesley.
I am Seth Rudetsky, and together we are...
Married?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I thought we'd have a fun... The point is, this is Stars in the House. Stars in the House is a show that we do twice a day.
Yes.
For
the Actors Fund.
Yeah, for the Actors Fund. I'm basically to put people in a good mood. But also, if you can, we'd like you to donate to the Actors Fund. And we have a brand new thing we're going to be doing tonight. So start donating.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Seth.
I guess I can say. Well, I'm going to wait till we get a little bit in.
Oh, a little bit in. Well,
let's first see what the Actors Fund is.
The Actors Fund is an organization that helps people, especially at this time in our country's history, in the world's history, helping professionals in the performing arts from coast to coast, everywhere in between. If you're someone who depends on the performing arts, whether you're a wedding singer or a dance teacher, or you work in an opera, you work in an artistic director's office, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and you need help paying your rent, buying some food, paying an insurance premium, the Actors Fund is there to help you. And that's why we're here.
Correct, Mundo.
Right.
So I just added...
Oh, put the banner on, Seth. So
okay, well, I just added this little thing.
Oh, what did you
It's such a busy banner. But here's the thing.
Gosh.
Well, just that way people know. Well, so here's the deal. We're going to ask it again.
Right.
So donate at starsinthehouse.com. We have a new method where we're going to have people read who donated. So once you donate at starsinthehouse.com, we're going to get something back from the Actors Fund being like, thanks for donating $20. Forward that thanks to starsinthehouse2020 at Gmail, and then we're going to get them, and then we're going to have someone from China Beach read them in their character. I don't know how that's making any difference, but it's going to be fun.
This isn't Frozen, Seth.
Yes, it is. Dana Delany is going to use your character voice. Her speaking voice, if that's you like.
Oh my gosh!
So this is a dedication to China Beach. So here's the deal. This is basically like me with SCTV. When I did SCTV,
this is true.
I was in a full
Seth
panic.
Was about to say
because I'm obsessed with SCTV, panicking, sweating, so excited,
and because Seth talks really fast. SCTV.
Yes, SCTV, Second City Television. I was freaking out because I love the show so much. So now I've transferred all that nervous energy and excitement and craziness and sweatiness and red chestness to James Wesley. He's obsessed with China Beach.
Because I've seen, you know what I realized? Because Dana Delany, yes, Emmy Award winner for China Beach, not once, but twice.
We're aware of her work.
We were talking a little bit before, and I was like, I'm so nervous. Look at my chest. It's like red. And why is that? Well, one, I'm a fan of the show, but I've been fans of other shows, including Desperate Housewives.
But you're a psycho fan of the show.
Well, but you know what I think it is? I think it's because this show came on the air when I was 19 years old, the same age as Julie. And that's such a formative age, you know, and Dana's character was all about, you know, when she was a nurse in a world that was really dominated by men, which is one of the reasons I love the show, is that it may be the first show that was dealt with war that came from a women's perspective. And being gay, though not being out yet, I think I related more, you know what I mean? And about to embark on my life that I didn't know what it would be at that point. And China Beach was like the show that I watched, and I followed and fell in love with all the characters for all 4 years it was on the air. So I told Dana, I said, I may not be able to do anything, and she may have to take over the entire show.
Here's
and I'll
just
sit here.
It's
like this.
A lot of them going, remember the time you, and then that's
like
it.
This.
Hey, by the way, we already got an email. People are doing it. So you donated.
Oh, excellent.
You donated Stars in the House.
We are here for Actors Fund, not just for my own enjoyment.
Yeah, so selfish. starsinthehouse.com, and then you email starsinthehouse2020 at gmail.com, the donation slip. And like I said, Dana Delany in full character costume.
Seth,
will be bringing the donations.
You know what? Here's the thing. Because Seth did not see the show. I'm going to out him right now, but that's okay. You just graduated from like
Oberlin, like Nancy.
Yes.
Oberlin grad. Hey, Nance.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that later. Descom.
But I believe that it's available like on Hulu or Amazon or something, and we're gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it all over again, and you're gonna see how easy it was for me to get hooked on the show. In the meantime, we want to give a shout out to some people who gave earlier today to the Actors Fund, because we think like the average donation is like $35 is what we're kind of guesstimating here. It's really incredible. We keep saying it in these times that people donate to the Actors Fund. It's incredible. So we want to give a shout out to just a few people. Lisa from California, who donated $50. Jessica from California, $25. Michelle from Illinois, $50. Mark from New Hampshire, $25. I don't think we've had someone that I've read out loud, New Hampshire. Mark from New Hampshire, $25. Merle from New Jersey, $50. Linda from Pennsylvania, $50. Annette from California, $100. DV from Alabama, $100.
Wow.
And Duffy from New York, $100. And that adds up. and our 5 weeks to $238,500 raised for the Actors Fund. So
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We're seeing applause from Michael. Okay, so we're going to have China Beach. We're going to have a special John LaPook segment. But don't forget, if you donate StarsInTheHouse.com, email StarsInTheHouse2020@gmail.com. Okay, James, let the obsession begin.
Okay, so because of our platform, everyone who knows this, StreamYard is great, but there is a limit to how many people you can have on the screen. So as much as everyone calls it Zoom, it isn't Zoom. Zoom, you have like 100 people.
But it's not live stream.
You can't live stream Zoom. Believe me, if we did, we just got a notification saying the studio is full. LaPook, you might have to go out and come back in.
Yeah, LaPook.
At 8:20. There you go.
There he goes.
See, John LaPook has been with us so much.
He
He knows
directions.
the drill. He just follows the directions. So we're going to do this piecemeal, and I just kind of did this randomly. So we're going to have 4 people. Seth, are you going to? Because there were, I think I did my research, 300 different songs that were used over the course of 4 years,
Like
the original recordings
that we could be sued for playing.
Yeah. So the title song is so iconic and so set the tone for it. The show would be cut off if we actually played the Supremes. So Seth instead is going to do his very best at kind of imitating what the opening was.
It sounds horrible on piano, but just like go along with the game.
Go along with it. Those of you who are fans. And so hold on, we're going to start here, Seth. Go ahead. You go ahead. You just get started here. There we go. All right. So with that in mind, we're going to get on Dana Delany.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey.
And Jeff.
Hi. Oh my gosh.
There we go.
I can see you.
I actually think that Brian was trying to get on, and Dr. LaPook took his spot.
Not cool.
So hopefully Brian will get on now. So when he comes on, we'll get started, Dana, and then I'm sure that Brian will be on shortly.
Great.
Thanks, Dana, for making this happen.
Sure. I do want to say, because you were talking about the music rights,
Yeah.
the reason why it wasn't available for a long time was because nobody knew that, DVDs would be around, that you would have to pay in perpetuity and all that sort of thing. So you can only watch the show by buying the DVD set at this point that Time Life owns.
Oh.
It's a little retro because they paid for all of the music rights, which cost them a lot of money. Yeah.
So you can't see it streaming right now. You'd have to get the DVD.
No, you have to buy the full set from Amazon, who's a little backed up right now.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. It's not exactly essential buying, but it may be pretty soon. The way that we're like self-quarantine here, so we'll go. Dana, I already told you how much I love the show, so I may need you to introduce me to 2 of your and everyone else, 2 of your co-stars here.
Okay, Jeff Kober, right there. Who? What was your character's name, Jeff?
Dodger.
What would you want to say about him?
Well, he didn't really talk much, so I.
That's true. He was the silent type.
He was the man. He's the man who had seen too much.
Yes, that's right. The 1,000-yard stare. And then we have Michael Boatman, who played Beckett, who was the head of Graves, which was the morgue.
Oh, Michael.
Michael. Is he muted?
No, we didn't mute him. We would never mute Michael.
And I'm not.
There we go.
There you are.
You got it, Michael.
My mic was working. I did it? Okay.
Yeah, you did it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Michael.
Thank you so much. Hi, Jeff. I love you both.
I love
And I love James and Seth because you're helping actors. What a wonderful thing.
right.
That sounded awesome on the piano, by the way.
I still got it.
Audra's going to get the good fight going at some point soon if Emily James doesn't kill her first. Having a baby running around, but that'll be another day. But Michael, I'll start with you simply because Dana reminded me that this was like early on in your career. How was this like your first TV show?
Yeah, it was. I was 22 or 23, I think, when I got that show.
What did you think?
And now I'm 55. How did that happen? How does that even happen? It doesn't seem possible. And Delany looks exactly the same, which is so.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, baby.
So how, Dana? So I know, but I can't see Dana if I don't wear the glasses. I got to see the cast.
You know what I
The
look
glasses
like.
work. The glasses really work.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Jeff. See.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ass kisser.
Uber fan.
So okay. So no doubt that the writing is amazing. Everything about the show was great. But I mean, did you all of you have to go in and audition? Like, how did it begin? And what did you think when you read the script for the first time?
I read the script and I thought I'd never read a part written for a woman like that. It was like a man. It was written, and I pictured when I went into audition, I played it like Clint Eastwood would play it. I just pictured Clint Eastwood. I found out later that the writer John Sacred Young had pictured Henry Fonda, which is good too, all American stoic. But yes, I had a very now well-known, long, drawn-out testing. A lot of people did not want me. It went on and on.
Wait,
famously.
Details. What do you mean
Hold on, I'm gonna show
well
a
known?
picture. Hold on, there we go.
Whoa, looking good. But who didn't want you? Who the hell didn't want you?
ABC, a few ABC executives did not want me because they didn't think I was pretty enough.
Yikes.
And they made me do screen tests. And I can say it now because she's won an Oscar. It was between me and Helen Hunt in the end. And she's done just fine.
Yeah,
it worked out.
And by the way, you look pretty sexy here.
Oh, dear.
That was Rolling Stone.
Wow.
But yeah, and I have to say the ABC executive did write me a letter of apology a couple years later and said that he was wrong. So he didn't have to do that. So that was pretty big of him.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff and Michael? How was your experience getting on the show?
My experience, I was Jeff. I just, you want to go?
No, I want you to go, Michael.
I'm a little delayed.
Because I haven't heard this story.
I don't know that there's much of a story. I was living in New York in a basement apartment, doing the young, struggling actor thing. And I was working as a security guard for New York Telephone, believe it or not. I don't even think New York Telephone even exists anymore. Yes, guarding New York Telephone buildings on the midnight to 8 shift so I could audition during the day. Which to me was just one of the best ways to see New York because I got to see New York after dark, which is back in the 80s was quite a thing. It was a wonderful, horrible, great, amazing place, especially for a young actor. But I've been auditioning around, and this is I feel like I'm the Wizard of Oz here. I'm like looming over the camera. I've been auditioning around, and I got a call from my agent that there was a show, a Vietnam War show, told from the perspective of women, which I thought was great. Yeah. And I read the script, and there's just certain scripts that are just immediately special. You just know that something is going to happen, and this was one of them. And at that time, I certainly didn't have the confidence to think that I was going to get the part of Sam Beckett, who's, my character that I played. But I just remember wanting to really do a good job and wanting to really just throw my energy at it as powerfully as I could. And so, I went in and I auditioned, and I think I had like 2 callbacks before we had to do the whole, go to the network and go to the studio. And, but that involved me flying out from New York, on probably a Friday or something, testing in front of ABC, and getting the part right there. John Levy, who was the casting director, ran out after me. I guess they decided right then and there. Oh. And I don't remember who was up for it, but I'm sure there were familiar, faces, because a lot of my friends, guys that I hung out with at the time and are still good friends, like Don Cheadle and Courtney Vance, who I was in Hamburger Hill with before that, had also auditioned. I mean, Jeff and Dana know, you kind of, you meet your friends and your enemies when you're auditioning, and the ones that are able to kind of hang out, and when you get a part that they want, tend to be, I think, you're not your best friends, but your real friends.
Let me ask you something, Michael. Have you ever been up for a part that your friend wasn't up for, and you actually called your friend and he said, "It's been in for something, and I think you'd actually be really right for it"?
No, I haven't, but I have been up for parts where friends were being considered, and when they got it, I was actually happy for them. I mean, because I get it. It's harder for me if I see a part that, you know, which has actually happened, where, you know, it was in some film that I auditioned for, and a famous rapper at the time, who will remain nameless, but a famous rapper at the time got the part, and it was like, no, it makes no sense. It's easier for me when it's a friend of mine, because I can, if I can't be happy for myself, I can at least be happy because I know this really, you know, good actor buddy of mine, you know, got the gig. So
That's nice.
I don't know if that's crazy or not.
Hey, Dana, before we get to Jeff, can you let Brian know that we have a spot for him? Because I have a feeling that he tried to get in. And
I just got a text from Brian. He's on the road. He's trying to get somewhere where he can dial in.
That's so Brian.
Where is he? Is he in Utah? Oh my God.
Yeah, he's in
sometime
Utah.
in the next hour. He could just pop. He could just pop on.
They have Wi-Fi there.
Do they?
I'm not sure.
I know they do.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Dana was telling me about a special trip that the two of you took together at the end of the first season. I'd love to hear it, because I mean, had any of you been to Vietnam before? I mean, especially then, probably not, right?
Vietnam opened for tourism in July of that year. I think it was 88. And we were there. We were the first Westerners that a lot of these people had ever seen. One of the first things that we had to learn to say was, "Con fai lien sotto la me," which means I'm an American. I'm not a Russian. I'm an American, because the Russians had been there for 10 years and they didn't tip well and they were rude. And so people would look at us and then we would say that and they would go, "Oh, okay," and invite us in. Except one woman came up to me. Do you remember this, Dana? She said, "Why you eat people?" I said, "I'm sorry." She said, "Why you eat people?" I said, I don't eat people." She said, "You're American, aren't you?" So there were still, most people said, that's in the past. We want to move forward from here. Americans are our friends. But there were a few people still, that everyone there had lost family members. Everyone, virtually everyone of a certain age. So,
you know, it's funny because having watched the show when I was 19, it seemed like the Vietnam War was so much earlier. But now looking back, you went there only like 14 years after the show began, only 13 years after the end of the war. Yeah. Really, like you said, Jeff, it wasn't everyone knew people.
Yeah, it was. There were still in Hue, where they had the massive Tet offensive battle, the battle for Hue. There's still bullet holes everywhere. I mean, there was and bomb craters and just it was. There was still lots of evidence.
Do you remember we went to the orphanage and there were all those kids that were clearly had Agent Orange and they all had birth defects?
And they also were almost all half American.
Yeah.
And mixed race in Vietnam means you don't exist.
Right.
Yeah. Back then, I don't know that's
back then, at that time. Yeah.
Dana, why did the two of you decide to go?
Because we're adventurous.
I love it.
And there was a writer's strike.
Oh, God, I forgot that. Yeah.
And so we weren't going to start up in July, and so we had time on our hands. But
we had this great adventure because we ended up being paired in a little private tour with this guy named Bill Stevenson, who it turned out was there to meet with spies, I guess. He was trying to get information about MIAs, and he was writing a book about it. And it was called Kiss the Boys Goodbye. Is that what it was called? Or I think he wrote the book afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the book. But because of this, we were watched constantly. Yeah.
Oh, this is the best story. We were in Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. And by this time, we had gotten to see the dirty underbelly of Vietnam, and we saw the spies following us. And I went into my room one afternoon. I had sent in some laundry and hadn't come back. And I said, "Geez, how long does it take to get your laundry around here?" 10 seconds later, the phone rang. "You want laundry?" Yeah, please. And I went and told Bill and Dana, and they said, "Nah, that was a coincidence." So I sent out some more laundry right away. Next day, I went back and said, gosh, they really don't do laundry very fast around here. The phone rings. You want laundry? So,
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Jeff, you thought they were spies. They were actually maitre d's.
they wanted to make sure we were taken care of.
Wow. They were there to hook you up, and you accused them of spying. You know what? I remember that story, but why did you guys go before we shot the pilot, or?
No, after the first 6 episodes.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Because
Why
you guys
wasn't
were
I
a
invited?
spring replacement, right? Is that what?
Yeah,
spring
we were
replacement?
half. We were mid-season.
Mid-season.
Oh, mid-season replacement. That's right.
Yeah,
They don't
Yeah.
I was a guest star on the pilot.
Oh my God, you were so good.
I wasn't even a regular. I never tested.
You never did?
Well, thank you. They did, though. They realized after they did the pilot, they said, you know what? We don't have any servicemen in this show, so why don't we bring that guy back?
Can I tell you
Thank
guys
God.
that all these years later, my wife is still obsessed with Jeff Kober. She just thought you were the sexiest. Oh my God, those eyes,
Myrna.
that voice. Oh,
Come
boy.
on. Thank you.
Yeah, great. No, thank you.
That made
Jeff.
my day.
Yes.
Hold on, let's
Thanks
see
for,
the
thanks for
pictures.
creating and. Oh look!
Mm.
Look at
see?
that.
Oh,
The man of China Beach.
that's right.
Boatman, you look like a baby.
He was.
We were all babies, for God's sake. None of
I
none of
wouldn't
you
have
were. What? Okay, so if I was 23, we can. It's all out. How old were you then?
I
You
was
weren't
30.
No.
Yeah, I was old, man.
I was 31.
Yeah. I was 33, I think,
Oh,
34,
all right,
something like
okay.
that.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look.
But I was a guy who was supposed to be 19, but it seemed too much. So the years helped.
So it made sense.
It made sense.
Yeah.
Hey, Dana, can you
Mhm.
check your email? I sent you a list of donations to read. We've
Oh my
got a
God,
ton of
yes.
them.
Wimmer says he'll be there within 10 minutes.
Wow.
Where is he going?
He's
I just see
probably
him tearing through
fly
the
fishing.
Yeah, exactly. I just see him tearing down some country road in Utah. I'm assuming he's in Utah.
So everybody listening, when you donate to Stars in the House, then you send your little donation sheet to starsinthohouse2020 @gmail, and we can have a fabulous China Beach cast member like Dana Delany read it. By the way, Dana, when you're on Zoom, you can make a fake background in back of you. Your house looks like the fake background on Zoom.
I know,
stunning.
right?
It is fake.
Oh,
That's
nice.
hysterical.
Okay,
by the
you
way,
ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Go.
Yes. Okay. Lexi from Kentucky, 35.75. Get that 75 cents in. Excellent. Charlene from Clearwater, Florida, 25. Patrick from New Jersey, 51.50. Nancy from Georgia, 123.59. Amanda from Illinois. Is this like a tip or something? I'll just round it up. 26.
There you go.
Jamie from LA, 26. Kira from New York City, 25. Nancy from Virginia, 52. Ruth, I know Ruth. Ruth from Canada, 100. Christina from Minnesota, 25. Julie from Indiana, 26, who has been watching Stars in the House from the beginning. And oh, thank you. She watched China Beach for the entire run. And Abby, Abby, I know Abby from Pittsburgh, $75 in honor of Dana Delany, who's been such an inspiration in my life. I have to tell you, Abby watched the show when she was, I believe, maybe 9 or 14, maybe 12, somewhere around there, 12. She wrote me a letter back then. I answered her, and we've been pen pals ever since.
Aww.
Wow.
And she just came to see me. She's come to see me in a play in New York. She just came to see me in a play in New Jersey in January. She's great.
Wow.
Well,
That's so
thanks,
great,
everyone.
Abby.
While we're waiting for Brian to find Wi-Fi or pull over, why don't we bring on Nancy and we'll bring on Robert because we have enough room here. Here we go, Nancy.
Yay!
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Nice.
It's so great to see your faces.
You guys are so beautiful.
You're so beautiful.
You
I feel like
are
I feel like everybody has figured out this multi-meeting situation. I'd never heard of things like this until until the virus. And now all of a sudden, here we are. It's just pretty amazing.
Here we got some pictures here. Let's get the show here.
Yeah, see if you remember these photos.
Hold on.
Wait, who am I echoing
I
back
think it
here?
might be Michael.
Uh-oh, so what do? I have earphones in.
What if
I
you
have a-
don't wear the What if you don't wear the earphones? Will it not echo?
It's not echoing. Should I just turn it off?
Yeah, maybe turn it off.
Probably.
Okay.
We'll show.
Wow, look at that.
Oh,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Nice
Now,
frown,
Nancy
Nancy.
Leibowitz.
Nancy's right in the middle. I love it.
Which one am I? I
Okay,
don't
so I'm
remember.
off. Is that better?
Oh, I can see it's Clint Eastwood. You were doing Clint Eastwood in that picture, Dana. I saw it. It's good.
Nancy, are you just
Show
like,
it.
listening to music this whole time and ignoring us?
No, actually, I was inspired by seeing that other people sent old photos. So I was scrolling through my phone trying to send you a couple.
Oh, you can
Oh.
send.
Yeah, I did. I managed to get your emails, but I think I got it to you, Dana, and Michael, and then you said we're going to bring Nancy on. So I was like, oh,
Yay.
Darn it.
I'm gonna check.
I'll
Wait,
get it to
Nancy,
the rest of you.
Give me 5 minutes on Oberlin. First of all, where did you live?
I lived in Burton for 2 years.
Beautiful.
And then I lived off campus. But
Me
you were there after me because I graduated in 81.
Yeah, I graduated late 80s.
But I worked the Dascom lunch crowd Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and it was grim.
When you say worked, what do you mean, Nancy?
Well, Dascom was a big cafeteria. Okay, Michael, that's really funny. I dropped my side and showed them a bra strap. What do you
Yeah,
know?
baby.
No one wore bras at Oberlin.
Yeah.
Or shave their armpits.
Those were the days. No, I served up food for lunch. I was like the lunch cafeteria line server. And once I keeled over and fainted. And for one day, the rumor on campus was, she's pregnant.
Oh,
And then that ended.
of course.
Oh, my
What was your actual major?
Creative writing major, Black Studies minor.
Yes, Queen.
No, Yas Queen.
Thank
There
you.
you go. Since I've got 5 of you, since I can't have all of you on, what was like a typical week like? Did you have table readings? Where did you film? Because it all looks so real.
Did we ever have a table reading? I don't remember one.
No, we had no time. No.
No,
Oh,
I don't remember.
We did at lunch sometimes out at Indian
Indian
Dunes. We would
Dunes.
sit and
Yeah.
read.
I
couple
do
times.
remember vague something like that, like maybe one time or a couple of times having one at Indian Dunes.
Yeah.
We were
Having
famous
table
for having the longest days in
Can't hear
show
Bob.
business. We had
That's right.
Can't hear me?
Bob.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Can you
Michael's the one having
hear
trouble.
you.
Maybe put it back in, Michael. I know.
I know.
There's
It's not you,
always a
Bob.
troublemaker, and you're
It's
Michael.
Michael.
You're
It's
it.
not Bob.
It's not me. You can hear me.
Yeah,
Yes,
Bob,
we
you
can.
can.
All right.
Bob, you're perfect.
Oh, I love to
You
hear
hear
that.
me now?
Tell them
Yeah.
about the
Michael.
T-shirt.
Oh yes, we did have we had one 24-hour
Bob's
shooting day, and then they couldn't even shoot the next day, and the crew printed up a T-shirt. I'm not going to mention the director's name, but it did say "I survived," and then the director's name. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
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 We were legendary, actually. It took a while, let's say, to get the show on pattern, I think, as the studio executives are fond of saying. It took, because of the, shooting in Indian Dunes, because of weather issues. I mean, the set got washed away during the pilot.
Wow.
There were different things that didn't happen on a normal studio, television series. So
But
it took a
They
while.
also innovated a lot of moving camera kind of
Yeah,
things.
we were
that-
the first ones to use the Steadicam.
Yeah.
Before ER, we did the
Yeah.
Steadicam thing. Mhm.
Ha ha.
Same
ER
DP.
stands on our shoulders. That's what happened.
That's true. It's actually true.
So, wait a minute. So how much was done at Dunes? Like how much was done on location? How much was done at Warner Brothers?
Well, that changed from season to season, right? I mean, because we did much more at the Dunes the first season than thereafter.
I think most of the interior scenes were at Warner Brothers, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, but
I know
you-
all of my scenes in the GRU were done at Warner Brothers. Was it Stage 9?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But our showrunner, John Segrett Young, was famously a perfectionist. So we really never got over 18, 20-hour days. That was pretty much the whole.
We also went through the color wheel on the scripts once.
Oh my God.
Twice.
In
on
other
one
words,
script.
every different color was a script change. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
When you said we went through the color wheel, Jeff, for a second I was thinking, well, Michael and me, but what?
How dare you. How dare you.
Oh, you always got to go there, Giles.
I do.
They did. They brought Nancy in for that purpose. Actually, it's true.
And
You know what? What's funny is you guys were talking about your auditions, and I realized I auditioned during the writer's strike. So they didn't have a script. They couldn't legally bring a script. So I just ran my mouth and they filmed it. And then they had me come back again. And I ran my mouth about some other stuff.
But did they know that you could sing, Nancy? Did they know that you could sing?
Not really. I mean, they knew I do comedy and improv and stuff, but I didn't sing for them or anything. And then when
I was telling James that you sang great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Except that one time with that Baldwin brother, that wasn't so fun.
Oh yeah.
Let's try to keep this show positive, Nancy. Positive.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Wait.
Wait,
Which
there was
brother?
a Baldwin on our show?
Which brother?
The one that's now sort of a religious right winger.
I went to
Steven.
camp with him. I told you
You did?
I went to music camp
Well,
with
you
him.
two have a lot in common.
Nancy,
You
we had
do.
the same childhood. We got to talk
I
privately.
know, right?
When you auditioned, did they just say they gave you a situation and you just yes ended it?
No, it wasn't. I guess when I said improv, they just asked me questions. We just talked about stuff, and I told them some of the stuff that I was doing, and yeah, it was stuff. Listen, the week before my first audition for China Beach, I got money from the Actors Fund to live because I couldn't pay my rent. So it's one of those serendipitous things.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
Yay.
You hear that, everybody?
Thank you, Actors Fund.
Everybody watching, the Actors Fund is there
Yeah.
when you need them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
I got 2 months of Actors Fund myself. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You know.
When did you go to them for help, Jeff?
It was in I think it was like early 80s, mid 80s. Yeah.
You know, it's because Susan Kelechi Watson, who's on This Is Us, she said right before This Is Us, she really needed help and she went to the Actors Fund. It's interesting, like so many, I know it isn't, you're actors, so that's why you're saying it helps. And we know that it helps everyone that's in the performing arts, but it is fascinating the number of people that we've talked to who right before they got something, they were down and out and they needed help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Actors Fund was there for them. Oh my gosh, I did not expect that two of you would be saying that. Wow.
Hey, now I have a question. Is the Actors Fund connected to? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Is it connected to the home where actors live?
Yes, in New Jersey.
Or retired actors.
There's the one that's in LA, right? And then there's one that's in Inglewood, New Jersey. So,
oh my God, that's right. That's right. I heard about the one in Inglewood. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
the fund covers a lot of stuff. It helps those, and it also helps with these grants because they're not loans; they're money that they give you outright.
That's right.
You just have to show them bills or stuff like that. But yeah, it covers. It's the actors version. I mean, the theater actors version of the motion picture fund for film actors because they do similar stuff.
But it's for everybody though. But it's Actors Fund. You can go to them if you're a best boy, if you're a script supervisor, if you're an opera
wedding
teacher,
singer, whatever,
anything. And just on a side note, what's been going on with a lot of actors? We're talking about actors is they didn't have enough weeks in equity, and they had jobs that were going to give them equity weeks, get health insurance, and their jobs were canceled. And now all these actors don't have health insurance, and it's really it's been a nightmare. So
they're helping those actors who didn't quite make their weeks. Especially in shows, they count equity, it's like 12 weeks or 13 weeks, you get 6 months of health insurance, 20 weeks of work, you get a year. And some people didn't quite make it. And who knows when professional theater is going to be around again.
Oh my gosh.
So they're helping with them as well.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So before we bring on Dr. LaPook, Dana, is there anything that you want to talk about Bob and Nancy here before we bring on LaPook? Any stories you want to share?
I think the set should make Nancy sing that song.
What song?
Was it "Don't Make Me Over"?
Oh my God! That I was cleaning the.
You were so good on that.
Oh, thanks. You know what was funny about that day, though, Dana? I think there were only 2 big scenes that had to be done, and by the time they got to me, they were running out of light, and like it was at the end of the day, and I was supposed to have this like dance rehearsal. So literally everything you saw on that was kind of like, okay, let me sort of do this thing, whatever it was. Yeah, it was a lot of it was improv, and I recorded it first without the track. I had to go back later and sing the track to my picture. It was so crazy.
Oh, you had to match your voice to what you had already acted out. Oh, that's fun though. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was tricky. But that was fun. But more fun than that were not only the scenes that we got to do all together as a group, but when we had meals together. That I remember. I loved that.
Mhm.
Eating and talking
yeah.
with everybody.
You mean
Well,
Yeah.
there was a night
And
out.
drinking.
And
There was a night out because, as Dana had said earlier, and I remember this distinctly with Mark Helgenberger as well. I mean, I think all of us were in this scene where we remember that stupid softball game that we had to shoot
in the rain.
at 3 or 4 in the morning. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't that literally a 24-hour day?
Oh my
Weren't we
God.
there actually for 24 hours? Almost 24 hours.
I know Mimi Leader directed that episode. That was the 4th of July episode.
Yes, that's right.
How many
And I
people
feel like-
actually?
I can't hear Bob. Bob's talking.
Oh, I wanted to know: does everybody remember the first time they had to go up in a helicopter and get filmed? Do you remember that? The
loved
first
it.
time you were on
I
camera.
loved it too.
But wasn't it terrifying? I'd never been up in a helicopter before, and
I
we had
hadn't
to.
either. It wasn't
But we had to look like
scary.
it. We had to look like it was a day at the office, like we had done it all the time. And I distinctly remember. And it was a musical show we did, and I had to sing in the helicopter. I've grown accustomed to her face, so it was this like quiet, emotive moment, and inside my guts were coming up and exploding through my head. And that was the most terrifying moment because it just shot straight up. Anyway, that was the scariest moment that I recall.
Oh my gosh!
I did not enjoy that.
Seth, you want to play? You want to fulfill Dana's wish here and put Nancy on the spot and sing? I kind of.
Wow.
No. If you're gonna
You
do
remember
that, if you're gonna do that, then let me sing the theme song to the show. I can imitate Diana Ross. I'll
There
do
you
that.
go.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
He has
think-
that music.
Yeah, this platform is very weird. So basically, I'm just going to give you the essence of piano playing because it's going to be off timing wise. So I'll give you the essence and you just go.
So everyone else mute themselves. Dana and Michael and Jeff and Bob, so that Nancy.
I was gonna ask them to join in. Okay.
No.
It won't
Sorry,
work.
you
It
go
doesn't
ahead.
work that way, unfortunately.
All right.
Okay.
So right from Through the Mirror.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Through the mirror of my mind, time after time, I see reflections of you and me. Reflections of the way life used to be. Reflections of the love you took from me. Oh, okay, that's it.
Oh, that's great.
That's really
You are
funny.
shameless.
No.
You're shameless.
I know. No, but
Wow.
while I've got you all here, I have to admit that I always prayed. I would go through the scripts and hope that they would have this like secret romance between me and Dodger, and it never happened. And when I would go through the scripts and look for that and look for other stuff, and if I wasn't in a dream sequence with Dodger or had some good scene, I would throw the script across the room.
It should have happened. It should have happened.
know. We sang together at the very end, though. Remember?
What did we
sang
sing?
"When a Man Loves a Woman." We kind of
Oh, that's right.
shrieked it at each
Oh my
other.
God! Yeah.
That
Wow.
was my little tribute to you, Dodger.
All right, Michael and Jeff, we're gonna say goodbye to you. As much as I hate for this to end, and we're
But
gonna bring
Michael-
Dr. LaPook. Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
Michael, we want to have a good fight reunion with you. So we're
We
gonna
love
do
the
that.
good fight.
Yay.
Oh, are
I
you
love
on that?
all. I love you all. Yes, I
No,
love you
oh,
all.
Right.
Before you
I
let
love you,
Michael go,
Boatman.
I love you, Kober. I love you all.
I did an interview.
Nancy,
Love you, Dana.
I've got a
Love you,
podcast called The
Jeff.
Child Files, and
Love you,
Michael's on
Bob.
the latest one. We interviewed him
Yeah.
about the good fight, and there's some good China Beach stories in there. So you
There
guys
are. I did Nancy's podcast a few weeks ago. It was so much fun, and we talked about all of you.
like dogs.
James and Seth, thank you so much. What a delight.
Yes, thank you for
Thanks for
helping
what you're
actors.
doing.
I really appreciate that. It's so great to know that you guys are doing that. So
Thanks, Michael. Thank
anything
you,
we can
Jeff.
do to help.
Bye,
Okay.
Michael and Jeff.
Bye,
Bye.
Dana.
Bye, Michael.
Nancy,
Bye,
love you.
Jeff. Love you. Bye, Michael. Love you.
Love you guys.
All right. So I would say on that note, Dana, do you want to stay or do you want, because these two actually have a connection to Dr. LaPook in different ways. I'll leave it to you. You want to take a break?
Whatever you want. No, I'd love to be part
All
of
right,
it.
let's stay on. So we're going to welcome not only our chief medical correspondent, but also one that happens to be for a network that Nancy works for, CBS, Dr. John LaPook.
Hi, guys. Hi, Nancy. Bob.
Hi.
Hey, John.
Well,
Hi, Dr. LaPook.
hi, Dana.
Hi.
Hi, guys. I can confirm, Bob was just talking about him singing for an episode. I can confirm that he can sing because I know Bob for longer, I believe, than any of you, for more than 40 years, because we were in the same singing group together in college. It was a singing group called the SOBs, the Society of Orpheus and Bacchus. And I hope I don't live to regret this, but I've over the years, I've kept my private life and sort of the broadcast life separate. But I am going to, for the very first time now, share some footage from my wedding with my wife, Kate Lear, which was May 26, 1985. So we're coming up on 35 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And the setup for it will just be that we got up there to do a song that we did in college, and a bunch of the same guys from the singing group a cappella were there. Bob and I, well, you'll see Bob looking a little younger, more like around China Beach time.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we used to do this little routine, you'll see. But then at the end, we're going to end on, there's a guy named Miles Leverett Watson. Miles Watson, and he was a wonderful friend of ours, and he had a beautiful voice, and he used to sing a song called Chariot, and we were in the background there singing it. It is absolutely an evocative signature song, and you'll hear one of the great voices. So I put it all together into a little clip. It's only 2 minutes, so have fun with it.
All right,
Yay.
here we go.
As the New Haven train left Grand Central, a young girl got on with her kids. She said, I'm not dreaming that it's come to leaving, cause this burg's about on the skids. On the skids, the home is where the heart is. We can't hang our hearts on a nail. So we're thinking of leasing a Quonset or Nissan to do Daddy while Mommy does Yale. When the train had pulled out of the station, the family was still all inside. For Ann Harvard Feller had got her so miller that she was exquisitely fried. I'll serve my Lord till the judgment day. Ride, my Lord, ride, my Lord, I'm gonna ride in that chariot to see my Lord, to see my Lord.
I hope I don't live to regret that.
Guys, the pitch was so great. You guys completely retained your pitch a cappella. I'm so impressed.
Well, I'll tell you a sweet song. So Miles Watson Leverett III, who had one of the great voices, may he rest in peace.
Aw.
And 2 years ago, a few years ago, we had a memorial for him, and 25, 30 members of the SOBs got together, and we sang Chariot. But like the fallen military leader, who the horse goes without the rider, we sang it, but with no solo.
Oh,
And
wow.
we would go. We heard it in our heads then. Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it was one of the sweetest moments I can ever remember. So rest in peace, Miles. What is it, Bob? What's it like to see that
Well, it's to see Miles again, a glorious voice. I saw him many times because he lived in Los Angeles for a long time. So I got together with him a number of times over the intervening years. A great guy. I saw him in On This Island, Once Upon a Time on This Island.
Once on this island, yeah.
Once on This Island. He was extraordinary. And to see that, where we all look so young, it just occurs to me that that you guys have all aged so beautifully. You're a silver fox now, John. It's heartbreaking for me because I still had a little hair back then. It's just a nostalgic moment. I still have the phantom hair pains. I don't know
So
if that's an actual diagnosis.
As long as we're going super personal, there's some things about Bob you may not know.
Oh, great. This is going to be fun for me.
From college. So he has a rubber face, and in college, I don't know if he can still do it. He could put his fist.
Entire fist in my mouth.
I don't know.
Not going to do it. You're going to have to pay good money to see that.
Wait a minute. Dana and Nancy, did you know that?
I never knew that.
No, but look at the size of my hands. They're huge, too.
No,
I have, you know what they say, ladies? Big hands, big feet, big disappointment. I have enormous hands.
And didn't we on tour? We would go on tour down south and play at various colleges and stuff. And there was a Crystal Burger, right, which is this kind of a small hamburger.
Oh, and Dr. John is doing it all.
he could remember medically. It seems to be impossible. He could put like 8 Crystal Burgers in his mouth. Why you would want to do that?
This was my early claim. Sadly, I can't disengage that. Whatever that was, it doesn't really work anymore. But now that you've said that, I realize that the freak show option is still open for me. So I'm going to think seriously about it.
Well, Bob,
I promise, Dana, you and I will have a private lunch. Same for you, Nancy.
Well,
I will stick my fist in my mouth over the table at the restaurant of your choice.
Bob,
all right?
Bob was
you pick the place.
Bob was pre-med, and he became, of course, the holographic doctor on Star Trek, but he was pre-med, and for 2 seconds. And he and I did a segment for CBS Evening News of things that came true in Star Trek. And we remember that we did that little segment together.
I do. I remember it very well. And a lot of Star Trek has posited many technologies that have come true. So that was, and it was fun for us to be together. I've gotten the best tour of CBS News from this fellow when I go and visit. So we've been friends literally forever.
Wow.
And by that, he means figuratively forever.
Figuratively forever. And who do I call whenever I need an actual medical opinion? And this is, when you play, I put in 11 years as a television doctor, so I still get asked by people as if I know what I'm talking about for advice. And then I just call you and give them your advice.
Well, I hope I don't live to regret that showing finally this super personal part of my life. Nobody's ever seen publicly that wedding video.
And is Kate okay with this? Was she?
Yes, she does know that it happened. I got her permission.
All right.
And as I always do. That's why we've been married almost 35 years.
He asked first.
Respect.
Well, I was on. Can I also say this at their wedding? We not only sang. You know who we had to follow? The 2,000-year-old man.
What?
Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner did 10 minutes at their wedding before we went on.
Wow.
I realized if I could do that, if you could go on after those guys, you can survive in show business.
Wow.
Okay, Dr. LaPook, I have to ask, who are you that you got Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner? Who are you?
Back then for like $50 you could get them. Yeah. It's been a long time.
They were family friends. We'll leave it at that.
Oh my goodness.
But I remember I remember the end of that, because at the end, they have to get off. But they don't get off until they finally hit the great line. So Carl says, "Do you have any advice for the newlyweds?" And Mel immediately goes, "Ignore each other." And Paul says, "What do you mean?" He says, "Ignore each other. Because the more you know each other, the more you'll realize you're just like each other. And the same hatred you have for yourself, you'll throw on them." So, Dr. LaPook, when you come home at night and Katie says, "Who is it?" say, "It's Irving." Never give your real name in a marriage. Never. Once they know who you are, you're through.
Oh my God.
Words to live by.
On that note, I think that's a good one to bring on our next guest, because as you keep saying, Dr. Lapook, there's science and then there's the beauty of laughter and music. And thank you for bringing both today.
All right, thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, John.
And Bob, we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. It's wonderful that you guys are doing this thing. It was a joy to see my castmates, and I love you all.
We
Love
love
you,
you,
Bob.
Bob.
Thank you.
No, Seth. No.
Practice.
Bye, Nancy.
Get back to us.
Okay, so Dana, Brian's here. So he made it.
Yay.
Can you see Brian?
Ah!
Hey,
There you go. Brian Wimmer.
Oh, look at you, cowboy.
how are you?
And we're going to bring two of your other co-stars on. Marg. Hi, Marg.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
And here we go.
Sarah.
Beautiful.
Hi, sweethearts.
Hey there.
I'm not Marg, though. Just so we're clear. Hey, Wim, I love that hair. Margie. Here, Marg.
Sarah.
Hi, sweethearts.
Hi.
Oh, boy, was it great to see all you guys.
Yes.
James and Seth, thank you so very much, really.
Yes, thank you.
For doing this. This is just a beautiful act of love, especially, in the theater community and people who watch and those who served in Vietnam. And I couldn't be prouder or more honored to be with these wonderful actors, wonderful human beings. Bodie, wherever you are, kiss my goddaughter. Spotman's daughter is my goddaughter, Mackenzie. Wim, I love that.
You know what? Speaking of that, one of my favorite, there were a lot of favorite episodes, but one of them was when that was integrated, if I remember correctly, with actual Vietnam vets, right? And
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
that had been on television before. I don't remember. I think that's one of the reasons it was so emotional to me, is that I had fell in love with all of you, and then it was already real, and then you brought in the real vets.
The
in
real
there.
deal, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Talk
think
about
the
it.
reason that I was told, and you guys can correct me if I don't have this just right, but the studio was asking for what they call a bottle episode because we were so far behind, apparently. And so they, in other words, just shoot something like that could be shot very quickly in the studio. And, so they came up with this idea to have real vets on and they would incorporate some of the scenes that we'd already shot. And they got that great cinematographer, Vilmos Zsigmond, I think, right? Who shot it. So, and it ended up winning a Peabody Award, that episode. And
Wow.
yeah, that was a spectacular episode.
These vets had already been our consultants on the show. So
Yeah.
we knew a lot of them, but for me, the big moment was I was in the elevator. We did it at the Beverly Garland Hotel, I think, in the Valley. And I was going up the elevator, and there was this woman in the elevator with me. And I turned and looked at her, and she looked at me, and we looked like twins. And it was this woman, Diane Evans, who was a nurse in Vietnam. And in the beginning of the show, she was very against the show because they were afraid that we were going to, not treat the nurses respectfully in their experience, because nobody had really talked about the nurses in Vietnam before.
Right.
They had not talked about it. And we looked at each other, and it was like my doppelganger. And that was just by accident that we looked alike.
Wow.
And then Diane went on to be a great supporter of the show and created the Women's Memorial, the Vietnam Women's Memorial in Washington.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So she was the one who insisted that the women needed a memorial as well as the men, and she fought for that. And she actually has her memoir coming out this year. So people.
Oh,
Diane
very
Evans.
cool.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
So what does that mean to have consultants? Because you hear that and you see it on credits for TV shows. What did that mean for China Beach?
Everything. Especially those, when Wimmer had his leg removed and, didn't have it, in war episode, and Dana in the ER, myself in the ER, Jen Wyatt was one of our Vietnam service vets, nurses, and it was imperative. I mean, how to hold any of those instruments, you know, and the machines and betadine and all of those things. It was instrumental, really. They were amazing, all of them. Jen Wyatt, of course, was our, you know, for the girls. I don't know. Was there anyone, Dana, for the guys? For Picardo?
Yes, you had. Yes. Brian, tell him about the surfer guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of guys that would come in and bring us their actual surfboards that they had in China Beach. They brought us some of the actual T-shirts that they wore there.
Yeah.
We also had vets that showed me how to use a wheelchair, what to do, what not to do. It just made it so much more authentic, and to work really closely with these guys, and they gave everything, you know. And we tried to do our best, and I think we did a pretty good job of
great job.
You know, making them feel like we're trying. Everybody was so afraid we were going to do a MASH for Vietnam, and that's it wasn't right. It wasn't time to do that yet.
Right.
Well, I'm just also
Mark. Did you speak to any hookers, Mark?
Funny, you know, no one came forward to share any of their stories. But I remember before we started each season, you know, with all the vets in John Sacred Young's office on Warner Brothers lot, we cram all the actors, producers, and quite a few of the vets into the room. So, and it would just be like a week. It seemed like it was a weekend, but it probably was like 2 full days. You guys probably remember better than me, but it just was such an intense experience because they would share their stories, and we were all kind of in this, you know, in a foxhole almost together. And it was such an amazing way to start each season, because it really rooted everybody in you know, the reality of what we were doing, and we just really felt compelled to, you know, honor their stories and what they went through.
I remember we did that seminar before we did the pilot. And I remember sitting on the floor listening to all the people talking and feeling so intimidated and thinking, I have no right to play this part. I've never had any kind of experience as horrific as this in my life. Wow. And I felt like such a phony actor, you know? And I remember Bill Broyles, who was the co-creator of the show, and he had been in Vietnam as a Marine. And he came up to me later and he said, you know, you didn't ask any questions. I'm a little concerned. And it's because I was like listening. And then by the time we did because I don't really ask questions unless I know what to ask. Yeah. And then by the time we got to the second season, I had so many questions because there were things I still didn't understand, you know, but it was really intimidating at first because these were real people's lives.
Right.
Yeah. Very humbling.
The wonderful thing about going to all of these places to speak to nurses, when Dana couldn't go, they'd fly me out and I'd go to Dallas and other places to receive awards for China Beach. And then we would, you know, I met women that served there, not only in the room in the seminars, and men as well. We went to Arizona. Everybody went out to Arizona and met a lot of those veterans. And the one thing that stays with me forever, will forever stay with me, is one gentleman came up to me and said, you know, for years I haven't been able to look at the memories and the photographs and the letters and the notes, and I keep them in a shoebox in my attic. And as a result of your shows with the most accurate portrayal of the stories of in Vietnam, of the nurses, of the doctors, of those that were affected, both the Vietnamese and the Americans, he said, I was able to take that shoebox of memories down and look at it after 25 years. It, you know, if you can be lucky enough to be on a show like we all were, to be on this show, you can't really ask a lot more with that, especially in these challenging times.
You know, one of the reasons why I think that a good Norman Lear show but for you guys in the hour format, and why it worked is that there was humor.
Yes.
And it wasn't all about death, and
That's
it
right.
wasn't all about the pain of being away from your families. It was real and funny. And of course, Morgan, Dana, it's like your scenes were highlights. Well, you know, all of you were, but I think we have a little clip. Let me see.
You ever see a person drown? Huh? No. Yes, in the movies. All right, so you probably think the whole world lights up a cigarette after sex, too.
I, Casey Kalowski, daughter of dark powers. Silence.
I don't believe this. This is the last time I allow myself to be talked into. Little guy just didn't want to come. Cherub.
Okay, hold on.
Wonderful. Little guy just didn't want to come.
Yeah. There were always scenes like that would make you go from like the most painful scenes, and then you'd see that stuff. I mean, it's great. I loved it.
But that's what war was like, they said. You know, there was a lot of black humor there. That's the only way to survive.
Right, right.
We had some wonderful writers on that show, really terrific writers. And, you know, besides John Young and Bill Broyles and Carol Flint and Lydia Woodward and Nene Peter, who directed so many of our episodes. It was just and the crew, you know, all the production heads, just wonderful.
Yeah. Family.
Great talent.
Huge family. Huge family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we always pick up wherever we leave off, how many years that is. I mean, it's a rare gift. And I
know, yeah.
Wonderful feeling, you know, and I think actors have that kind of sense of, camaraderie. We're all connected with that kind of spirit, the spirit of giving and receiving and embracing, you know, our audiences and those that, you know, we can't see. But hopefully we're touching and we're feeling somewhere, you know, in the universe, and especially now. I just have to say, I have Dana. I have many, many gifts that we had, but I have the shot glass Dana gave us at the very closing, you know, party. And of course, unfortunately, you know, I don't have it. Lila always had it filled, as did Dana and Mark. But this is just, you know, water. But I just had to show our little kind of.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days. On and off the sets. We love that. We love those shots.
Hey, Dana. Seth, I think, sent you some more donations. Do you mind reading more?
They're from some pretty amazing places you'll see as you go on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
You can round them up, Dana. Are you dead? Okay.
I'm getting them. Talk amongst yourselves.
Look at this nice comment. I love that the actors loved it as much as we loved watching it. That's not always the case. Not a great comment.
Very sweet.
Oops. You ready?
Yes, we're ready, Dana.
Okay.
We're ready.
Melissa from Maryland, 25. Laura from North Carolina gave 103. Charlie from Brooklyn, 50. Adina, Connecticut, $25. Saw every episode and bought the DVD set for her husband, who loves it. Yay! Oh, Nicola from Liverpool, UK, 25. I know Nicola. Renata from Germany, 10. Diana from Ireland. Thank you, Diana, 51. And Julia from Moscow, Russia, 51. Thank you, Julia. These are all like Twitter people I know.
Oh,
great. Thank you.
That's amazing. They're watching all over the world.
That's great. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
And a lot of them are really young. Like they didn't watch the show like when it originally came out, and so it's kind of amazing that you can have 25-year-olds that are watching the show because they just
you know what that makes me
appreciate
think, Mark. What, like, for all of you, the Vietnam War, of course, wasn't just Americans. So, like, did people watch it around the world? Like, when you went and you traveled while the show was on, like, what was the fan interaction?
Australia and Germany were very big. What about you guys?
Didn't we have the Netherlands also?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Things weren't played everywhere as much then.
Got it.
Yeah.
You want to bring on special guest star, Seth?
Yeah, but we have a special guest.
German.
What'd you say?
I had people coming up to me speaking German, thinking I spoke fluent German because apparently they had replaced our dialogue in the Netherlands, and they were carrying on for quite some time, and I just such a disappointment.
You never win.
Not a smile. Not a smile.
That's funny.
We have someone else who was on your show that wants to say hello to you. Please say hello to Miss Ricky Lake.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
It's so fun to watch you guys. It's
What a nice surprise. I didn't know you were going to
Great
be
surprise.
one of the greatest things for me was working on this show with you guys for that one season. I learned so much from all of you, and it was, I can't believe how long ago it was. I turned 20. You guys came to my 21st birthday party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I had a karaoke party. I think I have like blackmail material of you guys somewhere.
I remember singing Stop in the Name of Love.
Yep.
21.
Yeah, karaoke, yeah.
21.
Wow.
And I'm now 51. Yeah. You all look so well.
Ricky, I love your short hair. I love your hair, Ricky. It really suits you.
Thank you. It was a good move before this quarantine thing because I would have been doing it under like major duress right now. So it's my control. But you guys were talking about the helicopters. I remember I was a Donut Dolly, so I actually had to ride in that helicopter without the doors, and they would do those turns. I mean, it was crazy the stuff that they were doing. Like,
I never had to do a scene in the helicopter with Wayne Hauser, where because we had a thing on the show, right? And like hanging out, right? We kind of just did this stuff and not even think about, oh no, we're just on these like old Hueys, and you know.
I loved those I mean, I was only on it once, but Marg, I remember I couldn't get over the fact that you named your beautiful son, and then I did know that of course it was your dad's name, and then I really felt embarrassed having said, why did you name your son after a helicopter? And it was really, and she has this gorgeous son, and his name is Hugh, and we would call it helicopter.
29 now.
No,
oh my God,
say that.
And married.
Oh no, really?
Married,
oh my
yeah.
God. Lordy. Oh well, and life goes on, marches on.
Yeah.
Can I say how great it is to see Ricky Lake? I remember your 21st birthday very well.
I'm gonna have to find pictures. I'm gonna post them on Instagram.
I was old to drink, so I had a cocktail. We all toasted you. We sang. It was great. Your parents were there. It was terrific.
It's only 31 years ago, 30 years ago, because I'm 51. So 30 years ago.
You're a baby. You're a baby.
Yeah, a baby is right. Absolutely.
Oh my God, you guys. It's really fun to see you all. I'm gonna go rewatch the show. I have that DVD set. I want to break it out and get nostalgic. It was the best.
It was the best.
Damn good show.
It still is the best.
And Ricky, you did one of the most important episodes.
Which one?
The one that they wouldn't.
The one that was told backwards.
Oh, yeah, my character has an abortion.
Yes.
That was
and then ABC would never air it again.
So it only aired that one time.
Wow. One time.
Oh.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I don't think of myself really as an actress. I mean, I did a lot of acting, but I don't think I was a very good actress, but I think I did some of my best work on
You were great.
You were great.
I'm a better talk show host.
Oh, that dance with Wimmer.
And Robert, you're talking. I think Boatman was talking about us in the rain. That softball game at like 4 a.m.
Oh yeah.
And it was freezing. Oh my gosh! And yet it was still. I would do it again tomorrow. You know.
Yeah, that's right. Those 18-hour days. I worked that 24-hour day, Bobby. I worked with you.
I did too. I remember.
More than one, though.
We were.
There was more than one.
Concetta and I have a special relationship as the two Italians on the show.
Yeah, the ones who ate most. No, but remember at 2 a.m, Bobby, when we had Barbara Babcock on the gurney, right? I mean, she was dying of something, some heart thing. Oh yeah, she had a heart problem. Okay, and so it was 2 a.m. I mean, we had gotten there. We had drove into Indian Dunes, which was the pit location of the world, but it was perfect for China Beach at early morning. And then there she is lying, and it's 3 a.m, and so Picardo and I just looked at each other. I cannot tell you how many takes that took to, hit that baby home, because he looked at me, I looked at him, and we looked at Barbara, and then we just burst out laughing. It was the wrong time to do any of those things, but I'll never forget that as long as we remember, Bobby. I'm not just remembering.
No, and I remember an evening in the in the bar set where Dana was in cutoff shorts, and it was probably, I don't know, it was maybe 38 or 40 degrees. She's in a t-shirt where they've sprayed down her armpits to look like she's sweating, and her legs were beet red and virtually, frostbitten.
Sucking ice cubes.
It was just ridiculous. It was the coldest Vietnam ever.
No, but Mark had the worst of it. Mark had the worst of it. Yeah, Mark had the worst with her little skimpy outfits.
I did. I was always wearing something small.
But it was beautiful to look at.
You sent these great photos.
It's
true.
What's that?
You sent these great photos.
Oh, I did. Yes, that's right. That's
Megan.
Mimi's not in that. Megan Gallagher.
Yeah, Megan.
And this young actress who playing this character, the little girl that's on the gurney, was just so moving. There she was so adorable and terrific.
Sweet. A lot of wonderful child actors on that show.
You also sent this photo.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt played Jeff's son.
Really? Oh, yeah, that's right. And when in the future episode, these episodes that went into the 80s.
Yes, Joseph Gordon-Levitt played Jeff's son, and he was 7 years old at the time.
Oh my God!
And he was supposed to be Eurasian, and even though he's not really, but he kind of looked like he was. But they hired him because he was such a good actor at 7 that I remember saying, "Who are you?" Oh my God, he was phenomenal at 7 years old. So it's not surprising.
Wow.
And our directors loved kid actors. There's a lot of directors out there that, W.C. Fields, when it came to children. And, but it was, our directors loved being with those kids. And those kids listened, and they were really, well behaved, I thought. I mean, especially the hours that they came in. And because it was union and we had to observe those hours with those kids. But I mean, it was astonishing how they were just always up and ready to go. As long as that, that craft service, those donuts were there, or hot chili or something, they were always ready to go, and really talented kids.
The best child actor we had was the one who played Mark's daughter when the embassy's falling in Saigon. Putting her on the helicopter. Shay, my God, that's the best acting I've ever seen in my life by Ms. Mark Hilgenberger.
Oh, Dana.
No, seriously,
that's really sweet of you. Thank you.
Well, really great.
Actually, there was sort of no acting required. Just a little behind the scenes was going on. I just had my son Hugh. I don't know, a month. I went back to work after a month. I wasn't quite ready to get back into those 18-hour days, ease into it. So anyway, it was a scene in which I was having to get my daughter on the last helicopter out of Saigon, or one of the last helicopters out of Saigon, my daughter on the show. And I arrived to the set late. I had gotten lost. We were shooting downtown LA, and I was hormonal, just sobbing and nonstop the entire day, which was required for the scene. So I can't really attribute it to any kind of technique or acting skills. It was just,
it's funny. I just did a play with a woman who had just had a baby, and she plays somebody who just had a baby. And I told her about you in that scene, and I said, "You are going to have the easiest job in this play ever."
and she did nailed it every night.
She was fantastic.
I so do not want this to end, but I think we have to have it come to an end. But we want to show one little clip, and I'm going to bring on Nancy. Ricky, we want you back, and we have an idea for you to join us for future shows.
Whenever. I love what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for doing this for the acting community and all the people that work behind the scenes. It's great to see you all.
Thanks, Ricky.
Bye, Ricky.
Bye, Ricky. Wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Ricky. We're going to bring on Bob. We're going to say goodbye to you.
All right. Thank you again.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Bobby.
We're going to bring on Wimmer, since he missed out. If he can come on here, I saw his face. There he is. And we're going to bring on Nancy, because I think this Nancy is from the last episode, if I remember correctly, and it's just a little clip. It was so beautiful. Of you singing? Is that in the last episode? Oh, we put it, you're on mute.
At the wall. At the wall. Are we talking about?
I think. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
I think there was this beautiful montage that they did of all lots of scenes from the show. And if it's America the Beautiful, I think that's me singing.
Yeah, I don't. Let me see. We're just
Okay.
it's just a little clip, and because otherwise we get flagged by YouTube and all that, and basically no one's at YouTube right now, so we don't want that. So we're just a little sample of it.
Above the fruited plain, America, God shed his rays on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Oh,
That's my favorite line in the last episode,
That's
where it's a voiceover, and I say, "I couldn't save all of them, but it kills me. But I saved some.
Some. That's right.
Oh, it kills me, that line.
Yeah.
And Nancy, that was so beautifully done, Nancy. I forgot that. Thanks.
Yeah.
For remembering it to play it
Love
again
that. Love
for
that.
all of us.
Yeah.
Well,
Love it. Love it.
thank you, Dana, and thank you. For
Thank
bringing
you
everyone.
guys, Seth, James,
Yeah.
Seth. Thank you for putting up with your husband's obsession.
Oh, now I'm obsessed. I can't wait to watch.
He just whispered to me, "We got to get
Dana,
the DVD."
thank you for organizing this. This is a really
No,
great.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah,
you guys
thank
would love it.
you.
For a really
Yeah.
great
Well, we
cause.
did.
James,
Thank
and
you.
thank all the people out there who
And
tuned
thanks
in
to
and donated
everybody.
money.
What's that, Mark?
Yes.
I just want to thank you guys, James and Seth, for
Is it ended?
doing
Are
what
we
you're
done?
doing, and
I
to
can't
everybody who is tuned in and donated money.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yes.
Yes, from all
And
over the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
all live in the light here, okay? Spread the light.
Yeah.
everywhere. God
Next
bless
up, a
everybody.
reboot.
Oh.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
All right.